In this video, I'm going to focus on petticoats. It's really important to do the math for the petticoats as it requires a lot of fabric, it needs to be done correctly, and I wanted to be sure to get my desired result. I decided to gather 9 yards of fabric into each tier. The first tier has 2 layers, while the second and third tiers have 3. There are about 15 to 18 yards of ruffles that will be gathered into each of the 9-yard layers. I drafted the tiers as circle skirts with front, back, and side seams. I did this to reduce bulk at the waistline instead of gathering fabric into the waistline. I made the back longer because of my elliptical hoop skirt I'm using for the gown. I did a lot of research for my fabric choices. The most common types are petticoat netting, tulle, and polyester organza. Tulle is a nice fabric that is flowy and has an organic touch to it, something I really want to incorporate into my petticoats. However, it's very delicate and not strong enough for my project. Petticoat netting is strong and easy to work with. I've worked with it in many other projects and I really like it. However, it's very stiff and rigid, which is not the elements I want to incorporate into my petticoats. So I felt that organza was a perfect balance between the two. It's light, flowy, and very organic. It also has some stiffness to it that will give the petticoat some poofiness. It's also sheer, which in my opinion looks more elegant than the other choices. So after the tedious process of cutting nearly 200 yards of organza, the rest was just the repetitive task of pinning and sewing. It was surprising how quickly it all started to take shape. Polyester organza, unfortunately, is hard to work with as it frays horribly. Luckily, I had a serger to roll hem the seams and help strengthen the seams as I worked with the petticoat. I cut the gold sparkle organza into 7-inch wide strips. I did the same process of roll hemming with a serger to give it the strength that it needs. I also used the serger to quickly gather the ruffles. This saved me a lot of time. I've learned that sergers can make all the difference. After that, I had all of my insane amounts of ruffles all over my sewing room. At that point, I was starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. Soon after I finished the petticoats. Here is the first layer, the second layer, and the final layer. Notice how the dress got a little more round at the top. That's because of the 9 yards of organza gathered into such a short tier. I didn't have enough gold organza for all the layers, so I used white organza for the third tier, or the tier that's closest to the hoop skirt. The petticoats are exactly what I was going for. I wanted to show the organza gathered into the tiers. I should add that I had to use a super strong fabric to hold several layers of organza, as it quickly got heavy. I went with white cotton twill. Here's a close-up of my tier system I designed. Notice that each tier gets about 6 inches longer. I purposely did this to evenly distribute the fullness on 3 seams instead of just putting all the layers on one. The last part was sewing the waistband and inserting a button and zipper closure. My next video, I will focus on the dress, and thanks for watching and see you all next time.